What's up, everybody? Welcome to a new YouTube video. Today we're going to be doing a presentation, guys, on how long does it take to generate a Redbubble full-time income. So a full-time income could mean a lot of things. It could mean a lot of money. It could mean a little bit of money. I did the research, and the average full-time income, I believe, in America, and I did some Google searching on different things, but the average full-time income in America is going to be about $36,000. Now, most people are not going to get there early, okay? And when I say early, I'm talking about in a matter of a few months. I've actually set out a game plan on how to get to $36,000 in full-time income on Redbubble, which is literally doing 60 designs every day for a whole entire year, okay? Assuming that your designs are decent quality. But essentially, I've already made that video. I already talked about it. But what about the bare minimum to generate a full-time income? Well, the bare minimum in America, I think the lowest per hour salary is $7.35. And if we actually extrapolate that out to a yearly income, that comes out to $14,700 a year. So if we're talking about a full-time income, this is some people's, believe it or not, full-time income. And it's perfectly fine if this is your full-time income. I want to just be straight up and honest and say that it's okay, because this can allow you to either double your income if you want to work a regular job, or you can, kind of switch things out. So let's go ahead and talk about what does it take to get to that, $282 a week, right? What does it take to generate that $7.35 an hour? Now, over time, the more you work, I want to say that number is going to become passive. So you're going to get to the point where you're doing enough work to the point where you don't actually have to work anymore to earn this kind of money. So let's actually talk about how long that's going to take, right? So how long does it take to generate a full-time income on Redbubble? Let's jump into it. First of all, let me show you guys some of my screenshots here and show you guys some practicality around how things work. And I want to kind of tell my story through this. So you guys, maybe some of you know about this, some of you don't, is for me on Redbubble, I only started creating a lot of stores and really, really focusing on it up until recently, past few months. It wasn't something that I've done for years or anything like that. So my new focus, and I've said this before in 2021, was my focus is for 2022 to create multiple Redbubble stores that generate passive income, right? So that I'm diversifying my assets online. Well, my first store, here's an example of it, from November 29th of 2020 to November 28th of 2021. I think I only had the store for about, maybe 10 months, 11 months. This is the screenshot of it, and I put my little icon here to kind of, protect it. But $6,497 in sales. Now, that's really not the big deal. The big deal was my learning process that really started in August. You could see here there was a huge jump between June to August. There was a reason why. In the beginning, I'll be honest, I had what we call Q4 advantage, okay? Everybody who starts in Q4 tends to think this way. You get more sales in Q4 than you do any other time of the year. But as a beginner, you might think that you're getting those sales all year round. And so I started in Q4. You could see here, I started, I think, late, maybe a few days, before December started. So maybe November something, like November 30th, November 29th. You could see here, I had a really good month for December as a beginner, as a first timer. Mind you, my first time on Redbubble ever, right? And what happened was, I took those early mover, I took those advantages. But then what happened February, March, April, May, a little bit as a boost, but still very, very low. June, I realized things had to change. Numbers were getting really low. And then there was a little bit of a change, but then it shot up in August, right? It also shot up in November. Now, there's something interesting here. You guys know that August is not Q4. It's Q3. A lot of people don't get as many sales in August, but guess what? This is where I refine myself. This is where, and I do this with all my businesses. I get to a certain point in my life where I go monk mode. And monk mode for me is complete isolation. I'm talking no people, no voices, no phones, no distractions, and I go all in on one thing. All in. If I need to hire people to outsource work for me on other projects that I'm doing, I do that. If I need to literally rent a house out in there in the woods or something, I do that. Whatever I need to do to get away from the world, monk mode. And I go all in, like straight up all in. And that's what I did from June to August. And it completely shifted my mentality around success and on Redbubble. And that's kind of where the teachings that I talk about today, that's kind of where it all derives from, and kind of my ideologies. Now, I think there's going to be another period of time, I believe this year, where I'm going to do the same thing, where I take things to the next level, and that's where I'm going to start hiring a team around Redbubble to start boosting my success. But with that being said, I'm not there yet. I'm really not there yet. But you could see here, for a first-time beginner, this is not bad. What I want you to not to focus in on is the $6,000. The $6,000 doesn't matter. It's not about the number, but it's about the growth, right? It's about the growth from here to there. And this is, like I said, where I had some learning. This is a new store that I created December 14th of 2021. And you can see here, gradual sales, right? Pretty quickly. Within the first few days, it got sales. You guys know with the average Redbubble seller, this does not happen. This doesn't happen. You don't get sales the first month, the first 2 months for most people. It just doesn't happen. There's ways around this. And I teach, like I said, these things in the YouTube channel. So, like I said, don't really pay attention to the numbers too much, because by the time next year comes around, each store is going to be doing hopefully 30, 40 grand. We're going to have over 10 stores. That's kind of the goal. Right now we have 6, but this year, like I said, I'm focusing on creating 10 new stores. Or 6 or 7 I might have. I'm really not sure. But this new year, focusing on creating 10 new stores aside from the other ones. So we're going all in. We're no holds barred. Just coming to win, right? So let's talk about how likely is it to go full-time, to make that full-time income of $14,700 per year. And guess what, guys? I know in America here, $14,700 might not seem like a lot for a family and things like that. All I'm saying is that, number one, it's online income. Number two, if you take the rest of the world into consideration, $14,000 is a lot of money for the rest of the world. Like if you take $14,000 to India or Philippines or Africa or anywhere in the Spanish speaking countries, any of these countries, guys, $14,000 is a lot of money. Even in the Middle Eastern areas, obviously not Dubai, but we're talking about places like Morocco, Lebanon. Any kind of money will help out people. All right, Afghanistan, anywhere, this kind of money can help, okay? Now, with that being said, we have to talk about how difficult it's going to be, okay? You got to keep that in mind. There's always a barrier to entry, okay, to winning at a certain level. We're also going to talk about the time frame realistically of how long it will take. What do we need to do to get there? And more importantly, and the most importantly, actually, we need to define the variables to the approach. And when I say variables, let's just go ahead and dive right into that. When I say variables, what am I talking about? Well, variables are going to switch between me and you. For example, if me and you sit down and we both have 20 minutes to create as many designs as possible, the first variable is going to be our skill, okay? Somebody's going to have a better ability than the other, okay? The next variable is going to be the quality of work. The next variable after that is going to be the experience level. Then you have more variables like the tags that you're going to add, the titles, the niche that you're going to compete in, right? Another variable is how fast Google is going to index your store. Another variable is going to be if you're going to decide to personally jump into outside marketing like Pinterest, Instagram, etc. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that any of these areas are mandatory. But what I'm saying is you have to have, in order to lack in one area, you have to you have to make up for it in other areas. I'll give you an example. A lot of people on Redbubble, when I say a lot of people, I'm talking at least 60%. do not want to jump into any outside promotion. They don't want to take the time and develop an Instagram account. They don't want to take the time to develop a Pinterest account, a blog, any sort of promotional method to promote their Redbubble store. They don't want to do it. And all I could say is that's perfectly fine. But you have to realize that if you don't do that, you have to be very good in other areas. You have to be very good at tagging and titling. You have to have good quality designs so that when somebody sees it on Redbubble, maybe they'll pick it up, things like that, right? So all I'm trying to say here is even though outside promotion is what I call a steroid to your success, right? It can potentially increase success. You got to make up for it if you're not going to be doing it, because the reality is you have the cream of the crop on Redbubble. They're doing outside promotion and they're winning at it. And so if you want to compete and take that money from the Redbubble platform in terms of $12,000 a year, or $14,700 a year, you got to realize that that's sales you're taking away from somebody else, and you're competing with your competitors. This is not just a happy-go-lucky environment, even though it seems like it is. You're literally, the more money you make, you're taking that money away from your competitor. So you have to realize that something's got to give, right? So if you're not going to be doing outside promotion, you got to make up for it in the other areas. Now, let's just go ahead and talk about tag and title quality. You guys see that I mentioned the variables. Let's tackle one variable at a time. Tag and title quality. So for tagging and titling, for me specifically, you're going to hear other people on Redbubble say different things. From my personal experience, like I said, during monk mode, what I found was tagging and titling, for me personally, I focus on tags for the Redbubble success. I focus on titling for Google success. I'll explain what I mean. When people search for things on Redbubble, what I personally found, this is my personal experience, I can't speak for anybody else, but my personal experience based on my work that I put in, I typically see that my tags impact my success the most. Now, you might be a different person, you might have a different experience. I can't speak for you or for anybody else. I can speak for myself only. Now, in terms of titling, I've seen that my titles have had the largest impact for Google success when somebody finds my design through Google search as opposed to Redbubble search. Now, regardless of the fact, I'm not going to be able to sit here and literally explain all my full-on approach to my tagging and my titling, and that's why I created a course. Now, you guys know about this course. This is not something brand new, and I'm not here to promote it for the money purpose, because if I did, the price wouldn't be $39.99. It would probably be like $299. But with that being said, I'll just go ahead and leave the link in the description to the tagging course. We have over 30 videos on the tagging course. Everybody who's joined has had some sort of success. I haven't received a single sort of complaint or anything like that from the course. In fact, I've received many positive comments and videos and things like that, and you can see here. And guys, you could just go into the comments of the videos, of the older videos, and watch if you're thinking about the tagging. My biggest recommendation is if you feel that tagging is a problem for you or titling is a problem for you and you're not getting enough traffic, then this course might be for you. I really don't know your situation and I don't know your position, so I can't just say that this course is good for everybody, because it's not. There are some people that already understand tagging, they already understand titling, and they have the traffic to back it up. What I would say is if you don't have the traffic to back it up, maybe you need to do some more research in that area. And like I said, this course is based on my personal experience and my personal success. I can't speak for anybody else. These are just the methods that I have shown. And like I said, the reviews and the way people view the course is very positive, and it's actually getting people results. It's helped them move up rankings within Redbubble. And yeah. Now, with that being said, like I said, I'll leave the link in the description. I'm not here to pitch the course. I'm not here to try to get you to sell it. People are signing up every day. It's not something that I really am interested in promoting. Obviously, it's out there. If you want it, go get it. If you need it, go get it. If you don't need it, don't go get it. Okay? Link will be in the description if you need it. Okay? Now, for me, 80 to 70% of my established stores I receive traffic from. Now, on Google and on Redbubble. So I'll explain what that means. When I'm doing a store, when it's like the first month, 2 months, 3 months, that store is not fully established yet. And I'll explain. The first month, I'm focused on creating 60 designs per day for that specific store. During that first month, the bulk of the traffic isn't coming from Google. It's mostly coming from social media because I'm focusing on social media during that period of time. When I say focusing on, that's like the most controllable asset that I have. You got to remember that when you're building a Redbubble store, you're not going to get sales right away doing it the typical method. The typical method is literally just going on the website, creating designs, uploading them, and waiting for them to sell. Most of the time, you're not going to get sales right away. There's two reasons why. First of all, there's a low quantity of designs. You just won't simply have enough designs to be seen as much as you possibly could have. That's first of all. Second of all, a lot of the traffic that you're going to get could potentially come from Google, but Google takes time to index your specific links. Now, for some people, you might be indexed right away. For some other people, you might take longer to index. I've done the research on indexing. A lot of people have negative experiences with being indexed through Google. I'll say this. I have a portfolio of websites. We're talking blogs here. I've built blogs from scratch. I've hired people to write blogs. Blogging makes up most of my income. And I'm not even talking about Redbubble. I'm talking about in general. Making money online, SEO, blogging, getting found on Google, it makes up majority of the money that I make today. And for me, with the experience that I have is that Google won't essentially index you right away unless you have something valuable to offer. Now, there are certain situations, from what I know, some people have said that there is shadow banning and things like that. It's up for debate. It really is. Because with Google, guys, there's been data that shows, and I've done some Google searching on this, it could take up to 6 months to get your site indexed. What I know is that it could actually even take longer depending on the type of content that you have. Now, when I say indexed, that's much different than being crawled. You got to realize that Google is so vast and so large that they can crawl right away. Like, we're talking right away. So, if they really wanted to. The problem with that is, in the whole, the whole crawling situation, the problem with that is when you're getting crawled on Google, if you don't have value of your site, you're not going to get indexed as fast. And you're also not going to get indexed as high. So if you're, for whatever reason, Google believes that the tags that you're using in the Redbubble tag, or maybe there's no description, or, whatever the case may be, there, like I said, there's different reasons as to why Google might not necessarily index you right away, but that is a variable. Like you got to keep that in mind. So when we go over here back to the variable conversation, getting Google indexed is a huge variable, and that's why I said majority of my traffic comes from Google, from specifically established stores. It takes a few months for me to become quote-unquote established, to really get the Google traffic off of its feet. Now, for some stores, that could be 4 months. For some stores, that could be 6 months. For other stores, it could be as early as 2 months. I've had that. And I've had about 7 to 6 stores. I can't really exactly remember the exact number, but either 6 or 7 stores so far that are making me passive income on a monthly basis. Okay, so it's really hard to say how long it will take for you to get indexed, but that relates, there's a lot of aspects that kind of relates to it. Also, some people have been saying that Redbubble places a no index tag on your work. Now, that could be a potential too. I personally have no experience in this because I've never had a situation where where Redbubble hasn't eventually where my Redbubble designs haven't been indexed. Now, of course, it's not going to be every design, but there's not one store that I have where I don't have designs that aren't getting Google traffic, put it that way. So, for me, 70 to 80% of my established traffic comes from Redbubble and from Google. The reason why I do the social media in the beginning is because it's just a faster way to get, the ball rolling. That's really what it is. Now, you got to realize that different social medias differ in their effect. So with Pinterest, you can have a more long-term approach to Pinterest, meaning if I put up a pin, it can get traffic now and it could get traffic 5 months from now. Now, of course, the longer it takes, the rarer it is, but it's definitely a possibility, especially depending on people's Google search, because there is aspects to it. And I'm slowly learning more and more about Pinterest. I'm not going to talk about it yet because I'm not a complete expert on it yet, but I am learning a lot. With that being said, there are different aspects to Pinterest. With blogging, it's kind of similar. Like, it's going to take time to get some traffic and attention. It's not a right away kind of thing. Instagram is a right away kind of thing. Like, you can gain traffic right away. Like, we're talking in a matter of hours. So when it comes down to Instagram, that's something that I use to help give it that boost. Now, I'm not the only one on the internet that uses Instagram to promote my Redbubble store. And there's a lot of people that do this, and not just even just Redbubble, but there's like other different businesses that people do, selling NFTs. There's like a whole bunch of things. I've spoken about Instagram for years before I've spoken about Redbubble, so I want to be clear on that. Now, for those who are interested in doing Instagram, I just want to be honest and forefront with you guys. I don't do it the normal organic way. I've said this before. If you've watched my other Instagram videos, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't do it the regular way. I don't just sit there, post photos, post hashtags, and just hope somebody sees my posts. I don't do that. I control my outcome by engaging with people, and then via, people seeing my work, they engage back with me. That's essentially what I do. And the fact that I'm targeting people, or I'm highly targeting people, laser targeting, really, I'm going to get attention back whether I like it or not, right? So there are ways to do this. If you're really interested in it, literally just go watch my YouTube channel. All the information on it is for free. I've even created a Redbubble Instagram free course, and I even showed how to install the Redbubble Automator tools to help you grow. What am I talking about when I say automated tools? You can see here there are different tools that bots and apps makes for your Instagram growth account and Redbubble, and all, But basically, you use these tools to help you grow your Instagram, basically, all right? IG Bots is their sister company. There's a few other companies that do this as well. A good company is followonfollowbots.com. That's another example, which I've been an affiliate for a really long time. The thing is I just kind of like these products a little more. I feel like the functionality is a little bit better, but obviously they all work. They all do well. And just to show you guys my Instagram, and I'll just kind of pull it up here. Let's go ahead and just pull this up. You could see I just gained 7 followers. Let's go over here and go to profile. I'm sitting at 596 followers. So 4 followers away from hitting 600. And you could see the kind of growth. It's gradual growth. So like you could see here, we started off 3 likes, 2 likes, 4 likes, 2 likes, 6 likes. And then slowly we're starting to grow, 9 likes, 12 likes, 16, 27, 25, 17, 21, 25, 56. So you kind of get my point here. It creates gradual growth. If I was to sit here and grow my account normally, I just wouldn't be getting the attention. And a lot of people say, like, what's the connection between Instagram and Redbubble? Well, the connection is that Instagram is a company that allows you to promote your business, right? And so we are visual creatures as human beings, so I can sell products that have a visual effect, aka Redbubble products, on Instagram and make money doing it, right? So that's kind of the approach. We use social media to promote businesses. But in terms of the variables, right, the Google indexing, I mean, some people may argue it's controllable, some people may not. If we really talk to high-level expert SEOs, it kind of is controllable, depending on what you could do. And I don't want to dive too deep into that because that's like for another concept, another video. Tagging and title quality, I already spoken about this. Either you can do the hard work yourself and the heavy lifting yourself and learn about what it takes, and that could take months, or you could just hop on a course. Like I said, I have my course out. If you want it, go get it. If you don't want it, don't go get it. But tagging and titling is what's going to help you get that search traffic later down the road. I always say this, but if your design is the best design on Redbubble, but your tagging and your titling isn't good, not a single human being is ever going to see it, and therefore not a single human being is ever going to buy it. So your tagging and titling have to be on point, and that's a variable, right? And people are in different levels for tagging and titling. You might be a very good artist, but your tagging quality might suck. You might be a very good artist, but your titling quality might suck. You might be good at tagging, but you might be terrible at titling, and vice versa. Google indexing, like I said, it's up for debate. I personally haven't had any negative experiences with Google indexing. Some people may have. I would probably have to do like real research on accounts that haven't, and I would assume it would be pretty hard to find accounts that haven't, obviously, because they're not indexed. I think that's obvious. But another, like I said, the outside promotional thing, social media, okay, interest, all that stuff. I feel like that's kind of the majority, but I'll explain this concept here. What you're looking at, for those who remember trigonometry, or I think trigonometry. I mean, I don't really know, but trigonometry from high school, this is a standard deviation chart, okay? You have a bell curve. Really what this is this shows the population of the world today and the success level, okay? I want you guys to look at this and imagine we are sitting in a class together, like me and you guys, and we're in a math class, and you could see here it says 50. 50 is the average. Let's just assume that the average score in the class is 50 and the highest scores are in the 80. The lower scores are in 20. You could see here the reason why this is high, because it represents the population, the amount of people that receive those specific scores. So the reason why this is high at 50 is saying that most of people scored somewhere in this area. And here, the reason why this is so low over here and shaped like a, an upside down U in a way, or like a uphill kind of thing, is because there are fewer people that scored higher up here. The more we go to the right, the fewer people that score higher, and the more we go to the left, the fewer people that score left. Essentially, this is a good way of thinking it as levels of extremes, right? Most people in the world are not extreme to the left or extreme to the right. They're most somewhere in the middle, right? Now, what I generally say is this orange bar, you have to fit anywhere here, right? So slightly above average to clearly above average. You have to fit somewhere in this range. If you fit here, which is below average, you're going to have a problem. And you're going to have to make up for it. Like I said, I've said this earlier in the beginning of the video. Out of all these variables, we're talking design quality, tagging and titling quality, Google indexing, outside promotion. If your design quality is lacking, you're going to have to make up in every single other aspect to gain success. Now, design quality is one of the hardest things to try to negate. Like put it this way. Let's say I don't get Google indexed, but I have great design quality. I have good tag and title quality. People find me on Redbubble, maybe not necessarily on Google, but I could do outside promotion to make up for it. Let's say I don't do any outside promotion whatsoever, and I get indexed on Google. I have good tag and title quality. People are finding me on Redbubble. People finding me on Google. I have good quality designs. I can get sales. I can do well. You're not going to do well if you don't have good quality design, period. That's why I'm actually working on a design course right now to kind of simplify the process, because as you guys know, I'm not an artist, but I do well with selling. So I'm working on that, but you can't fit here. Like just point blank period. If you want to get somewhere in terms of success with Redbubble, you can't fit anywhere from here that way. Like anywhere here, you cannot. It's not going to work. You got to improve. I mean, there's really no excuse. You got to be somewhere here if you want to have some level of success. Okay? Now, obviously, if you go higher and you end up somewhere here, let's say, right? If you end up somewhere here, you're going to do very well, and that's going to make up for all the other aspects that you don't really have to focus on. So, for example, if your design quality is really, really good, let's say you're up here, okay? Well, then you're not going to need to focus as much on the Google indexing aspect, because more people are going to see it on Redbubble, more people are going to buy, etc., right? It just really what I'm trying to say here is that the great equalizer is your design quality. You can be phenomenal in every other aspect, but if your quality is terrible, you're not going to make money, and that's a guarantee. So you got to be aware of that. Now, a good way to figure out if you have good design quality or not is just simply don't judge your design based on the way it looks. Judge your designs based on the statistics that it receives. Meaning, if you're receiving traffic and you're not getting sales, it means that your design quality is bad. And this is the thing that I had to actually learn. And this is one of the things I learned when I call monk mode. If you guys remember in the beginning of the video, when I went from here to here, one of the big realizations that I had is I'm not putting my best foot forward. I'm not creating designs that people are truly wanting. And when I made that switch, and guys, yes, I went back to my older designs and I fixed them and I re-uploaded them and I did better. When I did that, I received a huge change in my success. All of a sudden, designs that were getting, let's say, 50 visits a month, 20 visits a month, 100 visits a month, all of a sudden, now instead of getting 1 purchase a month, they're getting 10 purchases a month, 6 purchases a month, 15 purchases a month. And what that does is that increases the what's it called? The income. We've already, I think for this account, I'm really not sure because I would have to log in, but with this specific account, I think we've already passed 800 and we're halfway into the month. So it's going to be a big month for that specific account. But what I'm trying to say here is you just can't have bad quality. I've said this before with designs, but you can be average. You can fit somewhere here. Like you could fit somewhere right here, but you cannot fit here. Like if you are below average, that is a problem. To get sales, you don't have to be perfect, but you have to be good enough. That's kind of the concept here. So anything above average, you're going to be doing okay. Now realize the better design quality that you have, the less you have to work on everything else. I mean, that's just going to be obvious. Now, to get to that minimum wage aspect, I'm going to say, do yourself the favor and do yourself the training and get above average. Like, just do it. Now, how do you know? Well, that takes time. It takes practice. It takes hard work. And you have to measure your conversion rate. The average conversion rate, like I said, on the internet is about 2%. Okay? So let's say you get 100 visitors to your store, to your designs, whatever. Out of those 100 visitors, if there are not 2 products that are being purchased, that means you're below average. Okay? Let's say you have 600 designs and 2 people purchase. That means you're drastically below average. You have to figure out how to get over here. So really what that means is you're going to have to improve your conversion rate. And like I said, I don't base it anymore on the way it looks because Mark Wilder actually pointed this out. Is he's saying as artists, when we create art, we think our art is good no matter what. It's kind of like our kids. And that's kind of the way that he kind of opened up my eyes to this mathematical statistical approach, which is, yeah, everybody's going to say I have good-looking art. But is that the case? Probably not, right? I mean, we're blinded to our own faults because it's our own. Does that make sense? Like, if we see a blemish in somebody else's life, we can easily point it out. In the same notion, we can't easily point our own problems in our own lives because they're our own. Does that make sense? Because we look at it in a different view. So what I'm trying to say is take a statistical approach to your success and see if your designs are below average in terms of success, all right? So this is exactly how to get there. How long now to answer the question how difficult it take and the time frame, because we already covered all the other questions. You could do this within 6 months. 6 months, 60 designs per day, assuming that you are above average, okay? And assuming that you have already the experience with the tagging and titling, okay? The tagging and titling is going to be a part of it, but you could do this within 6 months, assuming that you have all the other experiences. Now, if you don't have the specific experience in terms of titling and tagging, design quality, you're not getting indexed, you're not doing outside promotion, it's going to take much longer than 6 months. My point is to get to 6 months full-time income of doing this number, $14,700 a year, you're going to need at least above average design quality. You're going to need some level of outside promotion, right? And it has to be significant. It can't be, like 5 visitors a day. Like, it's got to be significant. You're going to need to have your designs indexed, especially for later down the road, like the past few months, the months after you're designing, because you want Google to pick it up. And you're going to need to have I'm just going to keep it real, superior experience in tagging and titling. And your quality is going to have to be good. So that's kind of what it's going to take to get there. Now, I'm not the guy who makes up the rules. I'm just the messenger here, guys. You have to figure out what can you optimize if this is truly your goal. Like, if your goal is to make $5 a month on Redbubble, that's a different story completely. But if your goal is to make this much money, I'm just the messenger, like I said. All right? I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. All the links to the softwares, the courses, even the free courses, the resources that you need to succeed are going to be in the links down below. We have 2 free courses. We have the Redbubble Instagram mini course, and we also have the free Instagram bot installation course. This shows you this like 3 videos here show you how to install the tools. I've gotten a few messages from people in the past week who said, hey, I want to start growing my Instagram, but I don't know how to install it. So I figured I just put it up completely for free, and you guys could see kind of how that works. All right, so hopefully this video added value to your lives, and now you kind of have a game plan as to what you want to do. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Bye.